Let's take a check then on the two teams. Gothenburg have made one change from the side that lost 4-2 to Manchester United. Stefan Wren comes into the starting lineup. He came on as a substitute and scored at Old Trafford. Magnus Johansson moves to the bench. Blomqvist and Markinson were the two players who were in doubt with a leg injury. They have passed the late fitness test, and Olsen, who has a dislocated shoulder, will play with a painkilling injection. Gothenburg, who will line up in quite an attacking formation. They'll be looking to Stefan Pedersen and Erlingmark to score the important goals, and Blomqvist also to get forward at every opportunity. And at the back they'll be marshalled by Jochen Borkland. Well, Barcelona started off with a 2-1 victory over Galatasaray at the Nou Camp. It wasn't all that a convincing victory. Johan Cruyff, in fact, has made 5 changes. Jordi Cruyff comes in, George Hagi, Nadal, Ferrer and Baquero, all coming back into the side. Guardiola is out with an ankle injury sustained at the weekend, but the big surprise, of course, is there is no spot there for Romario. He's been dropped. Johan Cruyff says he is not fit enough at this stage of the season. Begiristain is also another player who moves to the substitute bench. Well, this is how Barcelona will line up. Stoichkov and Hagi and Jordi Cruyff will be the players that they'll rely on to score the goals. It'll be good for them to see Baquero back in mid now that they believe have perished in that disaster. As we check the substitutes, and the Barcelona substitute there, some very famous names, and Moore, who scored in the first game against Galatasaray, finds himself on the bench. Well, the game underway, and Gothenburg in the blue and white stripes, the white shorts, attacking the goal to our right in the first half, and the ball played back to Busquets into the side now. He's waited a long time as the understudy to Zubizarreta, and he now has claimed the first team spot himself. Well, as I said, joining me, former American international Peter Vermees. Peter, a lot expected from both of these sides, but what have these teams got to do for victory? Firstly, Gothenburg. Well,
Gothenburg has to use the weather conditions. Obviously, they play in this type of environment all the time. They're at home. They need to use that as their advantage. They also have to exploit the counterattack. Barcelona is a team that sends a lot of players forward in the attack, and this way, if they can somehow get themselves forward much faster before the Barcelona team get themselves back up and set up.
Well, Barcelona are a well-known team. Everybody knows a lot of their star players. What are their keys to victory?
Well, one of their biggest problems is, again, they have 5 different players on the field, so team cohesion will be very important. These players need to somehow pull together real quickly and play the game that they play best, and that is a possession game. They need to work very hard and make sure they get a lot of people around the ball and do the things that they do best to create their attack, and that is a strong build up the field.
Well, the first shot of the match from IFK Gothenburg. Currently lie at the bottom of Group A after just one round of matches. Still early days yet. It's a 6-match competition. Carlos Busquets, the best of goal kicks. He gets it back from Ronald Koeman, who's the other goal scorer for Barcelona on their opening night. Gothenburg have had success in Europe. They've won the UEFA Cup on 2 occasions, but of course this is the premier competition that they would dearly like to win. Were involved a couple of years ago, and they made it to the Champions League. And you figure there, Aristo Stoichkov, the Bulgarian star from the World Cup, scored twice at the weekend in the league match for Barcelona. Sergi, now Koeman, Ferrer. Ferrer, one of the players from the Spanish World Cup side. He wears the number 2. He's listed as a fullback, but he loves attacking down that right-hand side. Now Gothenburg. And Peter, they'll really want to settle this game down from the beginning. They won't want to make any silly mistakes early.
Well, I think both teams feel that way, but as you can see right there, Gothenburg's going to try and play a lot of long balls out of the back, traditional way that they play. They're trying to knock balls back to oncoming midfielders and where they can get shots off from behind. Whereas, hopefully, Barcelona, again, what they try to do right from the early on beginning of the game, and that is try to keep possession of the ball and knock it from side to side and build the field up. It's going to be very difficult, though, because the weather conditions aren't going to permit a lot of balls played into space and be a lot more playing balls to the feet.
Yes, with Blomqvist having quite a tussle on that far side. The main talking point around Gothenburg over the last couple of days has been the non-arrival of Romario. A lot of soccer fans are wondering how Hagi and Stoichkov will be able to combine.
Well, you know, I think they're two good players that obviously can do that. Cruyff has got so many players to pick from, and obviously we see the players that are on the bench for him, players like Amor and Eusebio. He has many players to pick from, so those two guys are in there right now. They're given the confidence from Cruyff to go out and do the job. And Romario, he just isn't fit enough yet, hasn't been playing as well as he can be in the league, so Cruyff has made that decision.
Well, Jordi Cruyff is the player who's come in, who wears the number 9 shirt. He'll lead the attack. He's the son, of course, of Johan Cruyff. Already scored once in the league so far this season. And came on as a substitute against Galatasaray. Berg at the moment starting to exert a bit of pressure, as one would expect from the home side. This ball played long. Caro. Heynemann always in support. Now Cruyff. Trying to play that one inside the last line of defence and looking there for Stoichkov. It was well intercepted. Berg come forward. This is Martinsson. Forward there, looking for Erling Mark. And Nadal. Cruyff. Plenty of early touches. Now Stoichkov. The defence playing that one across, and there was nobody running through the centre forward channel. So Stoichkov, who's got a bit of a personal vendetta this afternoon, or this evening, against this man, Thomas Ravelli. Of course, Ravelli denied him in that playoff for the 3rd place in the World Cup, and denied him on a couple of occasions of scoring the goal that would have made him the leading goal scorer. And I think there might be still a bit of rivalry there, Peter.
You know, Stoichkov is the type of player that thrives on competition, and he's looking to get a goal tonight against Ravelli and try to avenge some of those saves that Ravelli made against him in the World Cup for sure.
Ceballos. Past one defender, but trying to take on one too many. Gothenburg, who are big and strong. They do play a sort of style of football. They really do play to their strengths. Roger Gustafsson, their 42-year-old coach, who's had tremendous success, in fact, since he took over at the club. They've won the 3 Swedish championships and a couple of Swedish cups.
You know, Mike, you make a great point. That is, they play to their strengths, Gothenburg. You know, interesting enough, you know, a lot of people say that Norway and Sweden are not very technical teams, but honestly, what they do is they play to their strengths, and that is playing a long ball. They fight very hard, and they do those things technically very well, and that's their game. They play it very well, and a lot of times when their game is on, a lot of teams can't beat them because of the heart they play with also. So it's a very interesting point you bring up.
Heynemann turns it back to Busquets, who's the local boy in Barcelona. He's really had to wait a long time for his opportunity. Cement a regular place in the Barcelona side, with Zubizarreta being sold during the summer. First cross coming in on that far side. Ceballos wants to take the throw in quickly. There's no options open for him. Now Hagi. George Hagi. Still no score. Gothenburg 0. Barcelona 0. George Hagi, the expensive signing during the off-season, who joined Barcelona from Brescia in Italy. Had a couple of years in Spain with Real Madrid and never really quite realised his potential. He wasn't the greatest of successes in Italy in his 2 years there. Brescia were relegated at the end of the first season there. They have regained the Serie A spot. And certainly George Hagi has got a point to prove. This time policing that one through as they were looking for this for Blomqvist. Cruyff. Heynemann. Driving that pass through. Hagi. Ferrer. Caro. Ferrer. Patience from Barcelona as that one's then played long. Trying to search out Stoichkov, appeals for handball. The free kick is given. No Stoichkov, who scored 7 goals in the Champions League last season as Barcelona made it through to the final. Obviously really humiliated in Athens by AC Milan, who won by 4-0. Thomas Ravelli there organised his defenders. He'll certainly be aware of the danger of free kicks from Ronald Koeman. That's how their first goal was scored against Galatasaray on match day number 1. It will be Koeman off the head of a defender and away for the first corner, which goes to Barcelona. So dangerous in those situations, Ronald Koeman.
Well, I mean, I honestly believe that he probably has the hardest shot of any player I've ever seen, and it's accurate. It's always on the target.
Corner played back to Haji. To Stoichkov, who had gone across to take the corner. And he will take it again. If there will be a variation this time. Played to the near post, again off the defender. Another corner for Barcelona, putting on all the early pressure. Barcelona, who have been Spanish champions on 14 occasions, Spanish Cup winners 22 times. They've won this European Cup trophy back in 1992 when they beat Sampdoria at Wembley. And the corner cleared this time. Gothenburg coming out quickly. And the back pass, and what a terrible back pass. There's Stoichkov. There's the opening goal. Stefan Pedersen. What was he thinking of? He turned to play it back to the goalkeeper. Stoichkov was slow coming back. But in the end, it turned out to be a perfect pass. And you just can't give those sort of chances to Risto Stoichkov. What was he doing, Peter?
Well, it's one of our 2 things. One, he's reading the mind of Stefan Pedersen right here, or he's just being very lazy and getting out after he took that corner kick and the ball got cleared right away. Obviously, you see him in the back here. Looks like he is reading it. He turns just right in there and has an easy sitter to put it by Ravelli. Excellent opportunist right there. Does a fantastic job of being in the right place at the right time and steals what most players think of as a sitter, as a goal. Here he is. Boom, right inside netting. Thank you very much.
Well, Stefan Pedersen is a recognised goal scorer, and they often say that strikers should never go back to help defenders. And what we saw then, it certainly reinforced that view. But it does mean with 11 minutes gone, Gothenburg 0, Barcelona 1. And Barcelona, who had 3 corners on the trot, couldn't do anything from those. But in the end, Stoichkov with a real gift. His first goal in the Champions League this year. 7 he scored last season, 6 in the World Cup. He's already scored 2 in the league this season, both of those coming on Sunday for Barcelona. So he's hitting a purple patch at the moment. But Peter, how will this now change the tactics? Because if Gothenburg were going to play their normal counter-attacking game, they now find themselves a goal down after some 11 minutes. Surely there's now got to be a bit of a change in tactics.
Well, their mindset, too, is a little different. They're playing at home. They know they have to try and win this game. They want to come out of here with the points. Now they have to start attacking. And one of the things they have to be, again, safe about is how many goals they give away playing at home. So they have to be very, very careful in that respect. And now Barcelona's sort of sitting in the driver's seat here.
Certainly 1-0 up this early in the game. They've now got a corner. Stoichkov has gone across to take it. Shouting instructions. In fact, it's Haji this time, swinging it in. And tips over by Ravelli. That was curling in just under the crossbar. Thomas Ravelli there have to be very much alert.
Stoichkov hits a great set-piece ball himself, and here he takes a corner kick, just curls it right in towards the net. That's a dangerous ball on a goalkeeper.
The corner. Barcelona leading well on corners, but even more importantly, they're leading now on the scoreboard. Haji again, right across the face of goal, and he just needed a touch. It's cleared off the line. And some desperate defending there from Gothenburg, and in the end, Martinsson just clears the decks and gets it away from the danger area. It's still Barcelona, though, putting on the pressure. Plenty of shirts forward for them now. Ravelli fumbles, the ball loose. And Ravelli there able to grab it before Cruyff coming in, was the player coming in. But this is a good spell from Barcelona, Peter.
Well, Vaquero had a sitter right there in front of the goal that he'd cross the end line. Just couldn't see to put it away, and both guys that were playing the post actually held their ground and did a great job of saving the ball off the line. But there were actually two to three excellent chances. The first, the corner kick that Ravelli had to parry over top of the goal. And then you had Stoichkov, or Haji. I mean, you had great chances right there. Vaquero at the end, and then was Cruyff following up, getting the ball at the follow-up.
Here is Cruyff. Afraid to run at defenders and take a shot. Jordi Cruyff, who is 20 years old.
I guess not. When your father's the coach, you take a lot of chances.
Well, we can see how close Barcelona came to increasing that lead. What a wicked corner, though, Peter.
Excellent, right? I mean, right in the goal mouth, keeper really hasn't any way to judge where it's going to go. The ball's coming in, you're not sure if it's coming short or high, especially when the ball's bending at you. As a goalkeeper, it's a very difficult ball to read.
Certainly in these conditions, because the rain is still coming down, and for the goalkeeping, the ball's going to be slippery, and it's going to pick up speed and skid off the turf. It's going to make it really awkward for them.
And you're going to see most of the time they're going to try and just punch the ball away or try to parry it somewhere and not hold on to it, because you can see when Ravelli got that one shot off of Haji, bobbled it and gave it right back up. So you're going to see players try to do that a great deal. I mean, goalkeepers try to do that a great deal.
Haji was the player pulled back then, so a free kick for Barcelona. Heynemann. Adelado. Certainly there's plenty of movement for Barcelona at the moment.
But, you know, Mike, the one tremendous thing that they do as a team, from the back, as opposed to most other teams, they have so much skill in the back that they can thread the needle. They can play balls directly into players. They're not afraid to take chances in the back, and a lot of times that works to their benefit. And obviously sometimes it can be a detriment to you also.
And Stoichkov. Segui. Switching play, looking for Ferrer on that far side. Heynemann. It's over the 15-minute mark. Gothenburg trailing by a goal to nil to Barcelona. So now it's a goal kick for Gothenburg. Thomas Ravelli at 35. Comes from a sporting family. In fact, his mother was a tennis champion. He's played 118 times for Sweden. And he's actually talking of playing in the next World Cup. He said if Dino Zoff can play when he's 40, so can I. He really is one of the characters of the game, Thomas Ravelli. Carlos Busquets, keeper at the other end, 10 years younger, 27. Playing the European Cup Winners' Cup final for Barcelona when they were beaten 2-1 by Manchester United. That was back in 1991. Now Cruyff. Tackle from behind. The referee allowing there for the conditions as that one's lifted over, and Busquets some way out of his goal there. And certainly from a goalkeeper's point of view, Peter, tonight you really won't want the ball bouncing because there's a lot of water on this pitch, and you're never going to be able to judge the bounce, are you?
If you're a player and you take a shot on goal, you want to keep it low so the ball skips off the ground and picks up pace as it hits the ground. As a goalkeeper, you want to make sure that everything comes to you in the air. On the other side of this, players really don't have a chance to bend the ball here. When the ball's wet, when the ground's wet, when everything's soaking wet, the ball is, it's very, very difficult to bend the ball. So the goalkeeper's going to love balls that come in the air to him today.
Vaquero. Ferrer. Chipping this one across and then chested back there by Stefan Rehn.
A lot of composure right there.
A lot of composure. There was a striker who didn't know how to defend after the debacle of Stefan Pedersen. But Gothenburg really have been put out of their rhythm. I'm sure that this wasn't in their game plan to score so early. It might not even have been in Barcelona's game plan to do this.
No, I think the whole time they were looking like they usually do, to keep possession, frustrate the other team with how much possession they have of the ball, and then try to steal a goal. And obviously they stole one very early, and I think they feel that they're sitting in a good position right now.
Challenge came in from Ferrer, but it took a final touch from Martinson, which results in this throw for Barcelona. Off the head of Haji. Well, again now for Gothenburg. As we see that goal again from a reverse angle. Well, Peter, wouldn't you like chances like that?
I tell you, Stoichkov, what is happening here? Thank you very much. Never got such an easy goal in my whole life. Usually he has to fall down, do the theatrics, get a set piece or whatever, like he did against Germany in the World Cup. But right here, he's sitting on the field, and the other team's passing the ball now.
Barcelona at the moment very much in control. Lado, central defender, along with Koeman and Nadal. Now Haji. Makes the game look so easy, George Haji. He seems to have time on the ball. It really is the sign of a good player. Sergi. The unsung heroes of this Barcelona side. Played in all the matches during the World Cup for Spain. And even there was one of the unsung heroes. It's Haji. Segueros. Koeman coming forward. Around to that favourite left foot. And the flag up. Sembranos is the player who's caught offside.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't that deflection off the defender right there?
Well, the linesman put his flag up very, very quickly. Koeman, who was the leading goal scorer in the Champions League last season. Scoring 8 goals. Unfortunately, could not find the target. The game that it really mattered against AC Milan in the final. So a throw now for Gothenburg. Club who were founded back in 1904. So we've now past the 20-minute mark, and Barcelona still leading by that goal to nil. Goal scored by Stoichkov in the 10th minute. Gothenburg, who were founded back in 1904, they've won 14 Swedish titles. And they finished second behind AC Milan in the Champions League in 1993. And they won the UEFA Cup in 1982 and again in 1987. They were the first Swedish team to win a European Championship, but that was when they won the UEFA Cup in 1982. But the only Swedish team to reach the final of this competition was Malmö. They did it back in 1979 when they were beaten by Nottingham Forest in Munich in the final. So Gothenburg trying to create history as they take this free kick. And well taken by the goalkeeper because the offside flag stayed down. Barcelona defenders there didn't move. And it was lucky that the goalkeeper was alert because it was a well-worked move, Peter.
Yeah, I mean, neither of the two defenders even followed their players they were marking in the box, and that could be very, very dangerous. And here we got Koeman again, doing his little trick flick header back to one of his defenders. He plays a lot of composure, but that can get you in trouble sometimes. And you know, one thing I can always remember playing as a, being on the field and being in training sessions, a lot of coaches train the reaction play. What if the referee doesn't call offside? You have to continue to play until he blows that whistle 3 times. And right there, those type of things can kill you in the game.
Kumar, spreading it wide. Now Olsen, who's in doubt for this game with a dislocated shoulder. In fact, he's playing with painkillers. And now Gothenburg have been caught at the back. Here's the opportunity. Haji! The shot straight at the goalkeeper. I think there, Peter, he was caught in 2 minds exactly what to do, whether to place it or whether to blast it.
I believe that they had a 2 versus 1 situation right there, and he should have just played the ball right back to Stoichkov, who was wide open on the left-hand side. He kind of took the ball to the foot that he's not used to using. That's his right foot. He should have done something much better with that ball.
And now at the back, Heynemann. Well, certainly it's been an adventurous performance so far from Barcelona. I would expect that the visiting side would play very conservatively at the beginning of the game, at least. But Barcelona come out really with all guns blazing. That would certainly please their coach, Johan Cruyff. As Koeman there, he's beaten for pace. Well, if Ronald Koeman does have a problem, it's his lack of pace, and he was really exposed there, Peter.
And he usually never goes out for balls like that. He's usually a covering defender in situations like that. But here as a sweeper, he has to go out. But I think there, if anything, he needs to delay. The guy has nowhere to go. He has one player to play in the box. He's got two of his players in the middle of the box. He needs to delay in there. And you're absolutely right. His pace is something that he needs a little bit more of.
The corner taken, the first corner, in fact, for Gothenburg, coming after 23 minutes. Now got plenty of players forward, but it's interesting enough that Barcelona have pulled everybody back. Now the ball lifted forward off the head of the defender. Rolado was the player who got his head to the ball, but Busquets was quickly off his line. Argy. Of course, it's a busy night of football around Europe tonight. The Champions League, this is day 2. Some interesting matchups. Some questions to be asked. AC Milan, will they be able to recover from their first night loss to Ajax? They take on Salzburg. As the offside flag is up again. Of course, Benfica taken on Anderlecht. Well, Bayern Munich will be looking to get on the winning track in Group B when they take on Dynamo Kiev. The winners. Spartak Moscow on day 1. Some interesting matchups all around Europe. Kuhn there shows all his experience. Here's the challenge back. Mark. He's been doing well in the domestic competitions. Mark, he's scored 9 goals so far this season in the Swedish league. A player who during the World Cup for Sweden. Mikael Nilsson taking the throw. Nilsson trying to go through. So it was Blomqvist clearing on that left-hand side. But we haven't seen any sustained attacks, though, from Gothenburg, have we, Peter? They really haven't strung too many passes together. They haven't put Barcelona under pressure. No, it's been a lot of individual attacking. It's been a lot of kick and run type thing. We're trying to win the ball on your end, and this is a very difficult environment to do it. It's very wet. The ball skips out of bounds, so players don't have much time to react in that sense. Way off. And the free kick goes for the foul. I think that's Stefan Wren who's down. Who came on as a substitute at Old Trafford and got the important touch which scored Gothenburg's second goal, but he was caught there by Sembranos, which results now in this free kick. An opportunity for Gothenburg to build something from the back. Looking for the tall figure of Stefan Pedersen and Magnus Liljemark. Ball slid through and overhit, the ball picking up pace on this very wet surface. And Barcelona switching defence into attack. Cruyff putting that ball through. I'm sure his father would have been proud of that. It was played just inside the fullback. And Stoichkov couldn't quite get to it. And certainly there were signs there of a soccer brain, Peter, from the young Cruyff. It was excellent ball. Gothenburg. The final ball letting them down. It was a good run from Martinsson. Needed a better ball on the end of it. As Bjorklund plays it back to Ravelli. Out of play on that far side. A throw for Barcelona. Over the 27-minute mark now. Gothenburg 0, Barcelona 1. The goal coming after 10 minutes. Stoichkov the goal scorer. And what a gift it was. Gothenburg now trying to repair the damage. It was the man who gave the goal away. In fact, Stefan Pedersen they'll be looking to, but at the moment they've got some defending to do. Here's Stoichkov, the goal scorer, playing that one through. Serge G was the player who had run on the overlap. Out of play for a goal kick. A lot of end-to-end action right now. Both teams sort of gotten a feel for each other, and
now trying to take it to each other a little bit. At the same time, again, caution needs to be very important for especially Barcelona, because they're getting out of their game of the possession game a little bit here.
Vidal. Stoichkov. And just failing to keep that ball in play. Stoichkov, who seems to save a lot of his best form for this competition. Of course, before joining Barcelona, he played for CSKA of Sofia, regularly the Bulgarian champions. And Gothenburg just trying to pick up the pace slightly. Pedersen starting to push more and more players forward. Lindqvist. Goes for the return, trying to play a 1-2. And Busquets there, grabbed it. You can see there, Peter, 5 Barcelona players back helping to defend the goal.
A lot of Barcelona players from the center of the park. They're giving the outside of the field open to the Gothenburg team, and then they just surge in on the ball every time it seems to come forward into the middle of the field. They have a lot of good cover, a lot of great cover.
Cruyff is the player, upended. Cruyff, 20 years old. How would you like to be coming into football, Peter, with the name of Cruyff? As we watch this instant in the game, there's good goalkeeping here, but for young Cruyff, really, it's going to be very difficult for him.
A lot of pressure, obviously a lot of pressure. You know, also he's playing for his father, and I'm sure a lot of questions get asked. You know, does he really deserve to play for a team like Barcelona and things like that? But you know, so far, I think he's played a half-decent game, and you know, obviously that pressure's not bothering him at all.
Gallardo, move forward. Haji looks so comfortable on the ball. And the offside flag up. Free kick quickly taken. 30 minutes gone now in this first half. Barcelona still leading by a goal to nil. But it's been a good spell in the last few minutes for Gothenburg. Now Cruyff. There's a hunger about this Gothenburg side now, and the ball played through. Stefan Pedersen must have only been fractionally offside. In fact, the referee has found a free kick, which will go for Gothenburg. The referee, Bernd, Heynemann from Germany. And this is where Gothenburg can be dangerous. On-set plays, a lot of tall players. The Auckland has gone forward. Stefan Rinn with the free kick, hit to the far post. Was there some pushing when the ball fell loose? And in the end, Busquets able to grab it. And Stoichkov. Sergi. Challenge was late from Nadal. So another free kick for Gothenburg. Another player with the Spanish World Cup squad, who in fact was sent off in the first game. He's got a yellow card here as well. Sent off against South Korea and missed the next 2 matches, of course.
Here he is coming in, he wins the ball, plays a bad touch in front of him, then he fouls the player afterwards. He has to, all the players right now are getting a little sloppy with the touches, and it's giving the other opposing team to get a lot of set pieces, which Barcelona doesn't want to give a team like Gothenburg.
Over the back line of the defence. Barcelona, though, defending well. Wilson beaten for that challenge. Ceballos. Well, one thing is for sure, Peter, Gothenburg really want to play this game with pace. Barcelona are trying to slow it down, but certainly not Gothenburg.
And right now, they're also winning a lot of the second balls. Balls are getting played forward, they're winning them, they're knocking them back to players, and they're getting those chances off.
Here's Wren playing that one through, and brave goalkeeping there. Erlingmark was the player coming through, and Busquets quickly off his line, bravely at the feet there of Erlingmark, put it a light ball through ball. As the Barcelona goalkeeper will require some attention. But this is what Gothenburg have got to do, isn't it? They've got to win those challenges and play these balls through quickly, Peter.
And they have. And here we get a great chance off, and it looks like Benquist takes a shot to the shin or somewhere around there. But a good save. Nice reading by him, though. Looks like he goes off his line here and just smothers his ball. Excellent. Good challenge by both players. And what I like about the referee, lets it play on. A lot of players will sort of give coverage to the goalkeeper, and I think that's not a fair advantage to him at all.
Busquets, the young goalkeeper, receiving some attention. Delightful through ball there, though, from Stefan Rehn, the Swedish international. He played that through ball and split open the defence. But did you notice before that, Peter, the challenge from Stefan Pedersen, who's really trying to make up for that terrible mistake he made earlier?
No, I think that's what we're talking about, too. One of the things they've been doing so far is they're winning all the 50-50 balls. You continue to do that, also puts your team in a mindset of, you know, we're very hungry and we want to win it, and the other team starts to shy off a little bit. And out of a 50-50 ball, anything can happen. You can score a goal, so they're doing that at the moment.
Play through, cut out there by Nadal. And he goes Stoichkov. Good turn of pace. Being forced away from the danger area, but he's got a corner. He's going to take a touch from the Gothenburg defender. Stoichkov, joint leading goal scorer at the 1994 World Cup with 6 goals. He had the opportunity on a couple of occasions in that 3rd and 4th place playoff to get one past that man, Thomas Ravelli, to make it 7 and become the outright top goal scorer. But Ravelli stopped him on every occasion. And Stoichkov has got one past him tonight. As he takes this corner, it's flicked on at the near post. Ravelli comes, drops it, grabs it at the second attempt.
Vaquero, who got up for that head ball right there, is probably one of the smallest players in the field. Somehow he always seems to find himself somewhere around the ball for a header and get a chance off. He brought Barcelona when they won the European Championship out of the doldrums when they were playing against, I believe it was Kaiserslautern. Scored a goal in like the 89th minute to take them to the next phase of the European Championship.
Yeah, he's a very busy player in midfield. Vaquero leading Barcelona tonight by example. To go to half-time, Barcelona still leading by a goal to 0. They've now got to face this free kick. Stefan Pedersen waits in the box. This does Heynemann, number 10. Lindqvist is there. Olsen has gone forward as well, the number 3, the big central defender who can play in an attacking role. Pulled everybody back with the exception of Risto Stoichkov. Ren with the free kick. It's away there by Frere. Vanos. Touched on by Haji. Now Stoichkov. Sergi. Find for Barcelona of the season last year. It was rather ambitious. The youngster who's just 22 years old. Really came into his own last season, forced his way into the Spanish World Cup squad, played in every game, in fact. And he's not afraid to have a go, Peter.
Obviously, by that chance, he's not.
But he really was the find for Barcelona, and he had an outstanding World Cup as well.
No, and rightfully so. He could reach the ball up that. There's nothing really movement up front. It's better to end off with a shot than losing, have the other team come back down on you when you went forward. So he, takes his chance. Keeps it low. I think that's what players need to do right now, to keep the shots low. It'll help out and give them a better opportunity at it. So maybe a rebound or what have you off the goalkeeper.
Now Koeman. Now Haji. Ferrer again. Also the return from Vanos. These are the best of return balls. Koeman. Kero. Cruyff will help, it's on its way. Stoichkov cuts inside, tries it with his right foot, and he's off target. Risto Stoichkov, really one of the outstanding successes of the World Cup.
I think rightfully so, too. He's a player that somehow always finds himself around the goal, always finds him in a situation to score a goal, whether it be a set piece, whether it be a goal played onto the field. He plays with a lot of passion and fire in games, and that seems to somehow breeds goal-scoring opportunities for him.
Some of his problems, though, with controlling the temper. He just came back this week for the Spanish League game after being suspended for 3 matches for insulting a referee. I remember him being banned a couple of seasons ago for treading on a referee's foot when he didn't agree with the decision.
That was his first year with Barcelona. I believe it was 1990. When he just has a temper, and I think, again, it comes from his competitiveness and the fire and passion he plays with in every game.
Heynemann. Now Stoichkov pulls away from his mark, but always seems to be able to find space for himself. Ball played square. Haji. Haji in close control. Still managed to get the ball across, and it took a wicked deflection and goes away for a corner. But there seemed to be no way there for George Haji, but somehow he managed to get the ball across, Peter.
He's the type of player that whenever he sees a ball, the primary defender does not affect him whatsoever. It's almost like he's not there. He just goes straight at him, goes to beat him. It's like, yeah, you're not here, I'm just going to do whatever I have to do. And he always finds a way of getting a cross off or a shot. Tremendous player.
Haji with the corner. Putting that one in, and a free header for Nadal. Well, where was the mark in there from Gothenburg? Nadal came forward. It seemed that nobody had tracked him or followed him at all, Peter.
It didn't seem like anybody had him for a mark, even when the corner kick was being taken. Just free.
Yeah, Cruyff. Played back with the ball. In fact, had already gone out of play, so it will be a throw. Gothenburg 0, Barcelona 1 as we enter the last 5 minutes of this first half. We're watching the Champions League here on ESPN along with Peter Vermees. I'm Mike Hill. This match coming from Group A, match day number 2. Barcelona already with 1 win under their belt. Gothenburg looking for their first win. It's Barcelona. Currently lead here by a goal to 0. Stefan Wren. Lifting that one forward. All played in field, away by Ronald Koeman. Vaquero. Sobranos helping it up on its way there to Haji on the far side. Haji onto that favourite left foot, trying to cut him field. Ball control let him down then. You don't see that too often. Lovely delicate skill there, threading that one through for air. Sobranos playing that one through. Here's Cruyff. Offside flag just up. And Cruyff was only fractionally offside. But what a nice build-up, Peter.
Great little deception by Sombrosis. He fakes like he's going to take a shot. Player jumps up. He takes a ball, shoots with the outside of his foot for Cruyff running through. Not sure if that was offsides, but it was a great little play. Right, nice build-up, nice combination between players.
This time the long ball played forward there by Vaquero. Overhit. The idea was right, though, because Stoichkov was on his way. If he could have kept that in play, there was nothing between him and the goal and daylight. There's Kumar. 4 matches during the World Cup final series. Playing as a right-sided defender, which he's playing tonight, or as a central defender. Here's Maria Vaquero, trots back as this free kick is taken. Challenge from Sergei. You can see there the conditions around the ground. The ground itself very, very wet. Everybody trying to somehow to keep dry in this stadium. He's coming in away that time by Nadal. And running into trouble there was Blomqvist. Busquets getting the ball away over the halfway line. Stoichkov the only goal scorer of the first half. The goal coming after 11 minutes. Terrible mistake by Stefan Pedersen. It's the goal that separates these two teams as we come up towards the half-time whistle. And some pushing that time will result in a free kick for Barcelona. Barcelona, who won this competition once, that was back in 1992 when they beat Sampdoria at Wembley by a 0-0. Goal coming in extra time from Ronald Koeman, who has just taken that free kick. 3 times they were runners-up in this competition, stretching back to 1961 when they were beaten by Benfica. In 1986 they lost to Steaua Bucharest, and of course earlier this year in 1994 they were beaten 4-0 by AC Milan. But they lead here by a 0-0, and it could so easily have been 2. Sembranos was the player with the shot on goal. He waited and tried to find the right angle and couldn't quite direct his shot, Peter.
Well, Jordi Cruyff plays a great ball into him. He does a great little couple fakes right there, acting like he was going to take a shot. Almost places an upper 90 to the right side of the goal there. Just a little unlucky, but an excellent chance again. And Jordi Cruyff starts that off again now. He dribbles parallel across the field and just slips the ball into him.
Thomas Ravelli was certainly overworked in match day 1 in that 4-2 loss at Old Trafford against Manchester United. He's certainly been the busier of the 2 goalkeepers tonight. Coming out of his penalty area. One ball upfield. There's a nice head down, and Koeman. Well, Ronald Koeman there, very cool under pressure. A lot of defenders would have panicked. Koeman there coolly played himself out of any danger. Here comes Gothenburg. This is Stefan Rehn trying to slide it inside the fullback. Kumar was the player making the overlap. And now Cruyff. Largely on that far side. We're now playing stoppage time at the end of the first half. Largely upended. It's a free kick for Barcelona. I suppose one would have to say, Peter, if there is one criticism of Gothenburg in this first half, is that they have become a little bit predictable with their attack play.
Well, absolutely. They played a lot of balls straight up the middle of the park. They just tried to head the ball and flick it on. And the other thing is, they've never gotten more than 2 or 3 passes strung together in the attacking third. And that's hurt them tremendously.
So it's free kick. It's the 3-man wall. George Hagi, the player, over the ball. In fact, in the end, it's Koeman who steps forward, just one step. Seems to get tremendous power behind the shot, though. The wall stops it. Sergei. Now Koeman again. Caro. Frere. And Cruyff, who climbed so well. Jordi Cruyff, the 20-year-old, seems to have that thing that good strikers need, and that is when they climb, he seems to be able to hang there in the air.
Yeah, it's one of the things that they do very well, and you know, obviously players can get up there and just hold themselves in the air, and he's one of those players that can do that.
So we've now played in 2 minutes of stoppage time. We come up to the half-time break. Here's the shot, straight at the goalkeeper. Well, it was Stefan Rehn who was allowed to come forward from midfield. And the shot in the end goes straight towards the goalkeeper. No goal there for Gothenburg. The only goal in the first half was scored after 10 minutes. It was scored by Risto Stoichkov.
It comes from having a lot of great players in the team. Everybody wanting to show that they can play, and that's what players are doing right now for Barcelona.
Barcelona get the second half underway, now attacking the goal to our right. Barcelona, the red and blue. Gothenburg, the blue and white stripes with the white shorts. So Barcelona, already 1 win in the UEFA Champions League, Group A. Now leading here on day number 2. It's so important in these mini leagues where teams only play a total of 6 matches, but you win your home games, and certainly you don't lose your away games. And if you can get a win on the road, really is invaluable. Remember, 2 teams from each of the groups will qualify for the quarterfinals. Gothenburg looking for their first points. Cruyff, the son of head coach Johan Cruyff, brought into the side today, wearing the number 9 shirt, playing in the role that is usually reserved for Romario, the great Brazilian striker, who surprised a lot of people, is not even in the Barcelona squad. They are only allowed to play 3 foreign-born players, and Johan Cruyff has elected to go with Koeman, Hagi and Stoichkov. There was no place for Romario, who still, I must admit, is not 100% fit after returning late from the World Cup. Side flag up against Stoichkov. Ravelli, veteran goalkeeper, Sweden's national goalkeeper. Clearance over the halfway line. Stefan Wren trying to play it behind the defence, looking for Heynemann, and a trip right on the edge of the penalty area for Ronald Koeman on Stefan Pedersen. Well, Koeman has conceded a free kick. He might count himself very lucky that he's still on the field, Peter.
You know, I don't even know if he really touched him here. Watch as the ball's played. He slides early. He pushed the ball past. He never really clips him. And then he trips over his own leg, like to make it a Marissa Stoichkov theatrical dive into the box.
Well, looking at the replay, which the referee hasn't got the advantage of, you might well be right there, Peter, but the referee's given a free kick for the foul. He could have interpreted it that it was a deliberate ploy, deliberate foul, and stopping a goal-scoring attempt. Koeman could very easily have got a red card. In fact, he's got away with absolutely nothing, but Barcelona have got to face this free kick right on the edge of the penalty area.
And a very dangerous one at that.
Well, Stefan Pedersen is the player over the ball. Stefan Wren is there. Interesting to see who takes this. Nielsen can also hit them. He took the free kick last week that led to the goal because it was deflected in by Stefan Wren. It'll be Pedersen. Ball comes clear. Walkman plays it back. Barcelona, though, had so many bodies back. Somebody's gone down because they took that shot from Pedersen. Full in the stomach. The throw-in has been quickly taken, but the referee is going to allow the player to receive some attention. In fact, it's Jose Maria Vaquero, the captain of Barcelona, who seemed to take that right in the stomach. Powerfully hit free kick, though, Peter.
Pedersen gets all that ball right there, and that ball was actually going to the upper right-hand part of the goal.
Vaquero. Be assured that he'll be back on his feet quickly. Part of the Barcelona side that defeated Sampdoria at Wembley in 1992 to win the Champions Clubs Cup. Well, that's a novel idea, Peter. We saw in the World Cup a golf cart being used in a couple of the venues over there, and usually there was 4 or 5 first aid attendants coming out with white coats and a stretcher very, very quickly. But it's the first time I've seen that.
It was an interesting little buggy.
Vaquero has gone off to receive some more attention. So Barcelona at the moment are down to 10 men. I wonder if Gothenburg can perhaps make them pay for that. Stefan Wren taking the throw-in quickly. Now Pedersen. Back for Wren. Martinson. Trying to slide that one through. Blomqvist. Now Pedersen. Appeals for handball against Sergi, and nothing given. Lifted forward again. Busquets be off his line. He spotted the danger quickly. Now Cruyff. Forward by Hagi, not the best of balls forward. Back to the Stoichkov, not Hagi. Early pressure in the second half from Gothenburg. Nil to Barcelona with Just over 5 minutes gone in the second half. Haji looking to switch play. Stoichkov on that far side, finding space. Space there by Kumar. Sliding that one through, looking for Haji. Just overhit slightly. Kero. Stoichkov caught by the challenge. Kumar. It's the player who caught the Bulgarian international. Certainly the challenge was a little bit late, but I think Stoichkov might have made a meal of that, Peter.
That's the Stoichkov usual thing. I mean, he just goes out and he somehow always seems to get set pieces getting around the ball. When he brings around them, he just knows how to dive. And he just does it so well every single time.
Stoichkov takes the throw. Rather telegraphed. Bernd searching for an equaliser. Really can't afford to start this competition with 2 defeats, and certainly not a home loss. Yeah. Releasing the ball and then tripping and looking for the free kick. German referee. Heynemann. Heynemann will have none of that. In fact, one must pay compliments to the referee. The conditions out there are very difficult. There's little puddles of water, the pitch is slippery, but he's given this game every chance to flow, and the players really have responded well.
Yeah, he hasn't really caught unnecessary fouls. He's let play on. He's played the advantage very well, and he's given the opportunity for the players to decide the match on their own. That's great to see when you're a player. I mean, as long as there's not something done unnecessary by a player or really try to go out and hurt somebody. But he's really watched the game very well.
She did for the ball that time. Bernd come forward. Stefan Ren. Still Ren. For the ball that time by Cruyff, who in turn loses out. And slipping and sliding. Certainly no quarter asked and no quarter given, but it's being played in a good spirit. Certainly it's competitive. Big crowd here at the Ullevi Stadium, appreciating the football from both of these teams. Gallardo was the player who cut that one out. Segui. He gets the return. Help on that far side in Stoichkov. Stoichkov there, just trying to bend that in at the near post. No worries at all for Thomas Ravelli. Kero. Stoichkov, there's no way past the defender. Solid defender there by Johan Olsen, who was playing this game with a dislocated shoulder and a painkilling injection before the kickoff. He is such a key player for this Gothenburg side. Bernd. Now Haji. There. Again. One-touch play from Barcelona. And then a good switching play to Stoichkov on the far side. Getting the whistles from the Swedish crowd. Haji. Barcelona do switch play from side to side so well. That wasn't the best of balls in from George Haji. And a free kick given this time for the challenge by Stoichkov. So a free kick to Gothenburg. Just over 10 minutes gone in the second half. Gothenburg 0, Barcelona 1. And Swedish supporters trying to get behind their team to lift them. They realise the importance of this match.
Barcelona has come out in the second half and put a lot of high pressure on Gothenburg. At the same time, they've done a great job of holding the ball. Good ball possession in the second half. I think it's allowed them to put the Gothenburg team under a lot of pressure here, and also show to them that they're not going to sit back and just defend the rest of the time.
Yes, I like the way Barcelona do defend, and Johan Cruyff likes to defend in his opponent's half, and they defend by just keeping possession around this area of the park. Well, that time, Renos loses out. Now Nilsson. Stefan Ren trying to chip the goalkeeper, who was off his line. And a cheeky shot there from Stefan Ren. Well, he's played 41 times for Sweden.
Stefan Ren has a heads-up play here, sees a keeper out, plays for the chip. I don't think Busquets was really in the position to make a save on that ball. That ball's right where it's supposed to be. It seemed like he reacted way too late. And here's a ball that's going over his head, and all of a sudden, now he's reacting. That's over and in the back of the goal.
Yes, he's backpedaling there. It could have been perhaps 6 inches lower. It could have been in for a member of the Swedish team who were at the World Cup. He only made 1 appearance during the World Cup, and in fact came on as a substitute in the final game, the game that eliminated Sweden in the end when they lost 1-0 to Brazil in the semi-final. Gothenburg trying to pick up the pace of the game. It really has been Barcelona, really from the kick-off, Peter, that has dictated the pace and dictated how this game will be played. And really, Gothenburg have got to take the initiative away from them. They are the home side after all.
Their pressure is not as demanding as it is for Barcelona. At the same time, it seems that every time they get into the attacking third, just as it was in the first half, that they just can't string passes together. Every time one of the Barcelona players gets the ball, he always has 2 and 3 options to pass the ball to someone. Whereas it's just the opposite for Gothenburg. They never have anybody to pass the ball to.
Arju trying to slide that one through. Clearance is blocked by clearance from Bjorklund. Stefan Ren coming deep. Still involved in this game, and Gothenburg needed to get involved. And that one's played over the lost line of defence. And Lundqvist able to get on the end of it. Here's Arji. Kept in play by Kumar on that far side. Now allowed to come forward. Barcelona won't make a challenge in that part of the field. What they're doing though is they're cutting off the options. They're letting players come through as the substitutes from Barcelona warm up on the sidelines. I wonder if they're warming up whether to come on or just to try to keep warm, because it really is cold, and this rainy condition certainly can't be pleasant for sitting on the bench, Peter.
I definitely think some of those players like the idea of having to go warm up, for sure. I mean, plus it's good. Anytime Cruyff needs somebody to go into the game, they're going to be ready to play. So we should have those players in the second half actually warming up for as long as they possibly can.
Barcelona at the moment, their tactics in this situation, as we come up to the 15-minute mark in this second half, are absolutely perfect. They're leading by a goal to 0. They're away from home, and they're defending really in an area where it's not going to cause them any danger.
That's right. The only way they're going to put themselves into trouble is when they start sitting back and trying to rely on that 1-goal lead.
Haji has had a big influence on this game so far. Some nice work. Just knew he was a good passer of the ball. This Stoichkov, the goal scorer, who hasn't endeared himself to the Swedish crowd. Bernd. And Cruyff with the header, which needed to be tipped over by Ravelli. Jordi Cruyff, who climbed so well. We commented about this earlier, Peter.
Good one-touch ball here by Ferrer. The cross comes over, and here he gets up, and 2 guys push him from one from back, and the other one slows him up from the front. He still managed to get a great header off here. He's up, and he's hanging in the air, and boom. Ravelli has to carry the ball over the top of the goal.
So it results in a corner for Barcelona. Haji again swinging it in, away by Ravelli. Ferrer couldn't quite pick up the loose ball now. It's Gothenburg trying to break quickly. Pedersen. Well, they had players forward on that occasion. Pedersen, though, couldn't find any. Now Wren. Mark on that far side. Played square, coming up in support. Nielsen. Rather a lazy shot there from Mikael Nielsen. A player who was in the World Cup squad, didn't play at all in the matches in the United States. Roger Gustafsson. Of a substitution. Eric Wallstedt is the player that he's talking to, one of the youngsters who's come up through the youth system at Gothenburg. Seems that he might be coming on to make his European Champions League debut. As the player is down, requiring attention. I think that might be Johan Olsen. Was in doubt for this game with a dislocated shoulder. Olsen that goes up.
Looks as if he headed the back of Nadal's head.
Yes, and he also fell very awkwardly on that shoulder as well. So this could be a danger signs for IFK Gothenburg. Mikael Martinsson. Instructions from the sideline. And Jonas Olsen is going off. So we get some more attention. No substitution made at the moment. With Barcelona still leading by a goal to nil. And Stoichkov there getting the ball from the throw-in and then just putting the ball out of play because Gothenburg had possession. And they kicked it out of play so Olsen could get some attention. Sporting gesture there. Looks like Magnus Johansson with the headband also preparing to come on. Nadal. Kumar. Stoichkov is the player who's penalised. Free kick taken. Bjorklund. Nilsson. Looking Bjorklund, a member of the Swedish World Cup squad who's organised the defence so well at the back, the number 4. Faulted because of the goal, and look at Thomas Ravelli for that point. Barcelona at the moment giving the impression, Peter, that they're very much in control of this match.
As of right now, there's no chance for Gothenburg to come back in this game with the way they are playing at the moment. I think it's time for Gustafsson, the coach, to make a change. I mean, he has to make some type of change and put another attacking player on the field.
It seems now that we're going to get a substitution. And it seems that Johan Olsen and Magnus Johansson is the player that's gone on. Wearing the number 13. The caption there saying it's the number 14, but clearly from here it is the number 13, Magnus Johansson. Johansson. He's an attacking player, much more so than Olsen. But Olsen, who seems to have injured that shoulder again, and Johansson. 22 years old, he is quite injury prone himself. He played against Manchester United in the opening game of the UEFA Champions League. But here's an opportunity, and they put it wide, and they can't afford to miss those chances, Peter. That was the ideal opportunity for them. It fell to Martinsson in the end, but you've got to put those away against a team of the calibre of Barcelona. It was a good build-up.
Great touch by Rand to put him through, but those are the type of chances that any player has to finish at this point in the game. When they get an opportunity like this against Barcelona, playing a little 1-2 there, he's got to put this, it's got to be on frame. It's got to be on frame. He's got to get a goal here. It's an important time for his team to get back into the game.
So a let off for Barcelona. And that might just spur Gothenburg on. Here's Haji. George Haji. His ability to stop quickly and play the ball in quickly. He hasn't done so far. That was a delightful ball through. In the end, a good save from Ravelli. Good football all round there, Peter, and especially from George Haji.
I wasn't sure what Haji was thinking about doing. I was sure if he was going to kick it or pass, shoot it on goal or pass it out to Stoichkov, who's out on the left-hand side there, but all of a sudden, slips a beautiful ball right through to Zambrosis.
Haji. That one down the touchline for Stoichkov to use his pace. Stoichkov goes down looking for the free kick. Nothing given. Now Gothenburg, who are trying to pick up the pace of this game. They're starting to push more players forward. They've got to take a risk. Koeman, cool at the back.
That's one of the reasons why Cruyff brought Koeman to Barcelona, because he's so composed in the back and he plays such great one-touch balls. It's always been a tremendous asset to the Barcelona team, especially because he wants to keep possession. You have to have somebody in the back that can play those balls, and he's done a great job for them in that respect. Well,
Johan Cruyff, of course, was brought up with those great Dutch masters of the early 70s who dominated European football and perhaps world football with the introduction of total football. In that team, every member of it was so comfortable on the ball. That's why Koeman was bought from PSV Eindhoven to Barcelona. And Cruyff, when he was building this Barcelona side, wanted players in every position who were comfortable on the ball. No big, giant defenders who could only kick and hack. He wanted players who, when they won the ball, knew exactly what to do with it. Koeman fits that bill to perfection. Now Haji. Stoichkov. He's not very popular around here tonight, is he, Hristo Stoichkov?
He's not very popular in many places. And, you know, same thing with the referees. Every time you see when he really doesn't have a chance to get in the ball, he falls down. He's trying to get that set piece. He's trying to get that foul called. You know, it gets on the nerves of referees after a while, and that's why he's a very disliked player.
Segui, the player having that shot. He's never going to worry Ravelli. The second substitution now being made. Erik Wallstedt, wearing the number 16, is the player who has come on. And Mikael Martinsson, who had that glorious opportunity just minutes ago, is the player who has come on. Erik Wallstedt, one of the youngsters from the youth program here in Gothenburg, comes on. As Barcelona also make a substitution, Ivan, wearing the number 12, is the player who's come on, and George Haji is the player that's gone off. Ivan, played in last season's Champions League, all the way up to the final, but wasn't in the squad for the final in Athens. Comes on, the 22-year-old, signed last year from Sporting Heon. Stoichkov. Switch from the left to the right with Haji going off. Nielsen. Now Blomqvist. Caro in there quickly. To Granos. Play it behind the defence for Cruyff to run onto. It was well cut out. IFK Gothenburg have made both their substitutions. Really, Peter, it's the last throw of the dice for them now.
They need to start throwing more players in the attack and they have to look for something. More chances like they created with that one where Ren put Martinson through and they got an opportunity at goal. They need to play that way, and that is their attacking style. Interesting,
though, that was a midfielder getting through. I mean, Ren set him up nicely, but you know, in this situation now, they've got to get defenders and midfielders to perhaps push a bit further forward just to support the front runners.
Well, again, I think that was one of the things that we talked about as one of their keys in the beginning of the game, is if they're going to play their long ball air attack, then they need to get players in support of when the ball gets knocked back, so that players are there to win the second chance.
Abelardo was the player getting the heady clearance for Barcelona. Certainly Gothenburg have got to show a little bit more initiative. Stays like this, it will suit Barcelona. And really in this second half, with the exception of that one chance for Martinsson, they really haven't been in trouble. Now Stoichkov back out there on the left. And that was a good challenge by Kumar. Good clean challenge, came away with the ball and then plays it forward quickly. This is Blomqvist. Mark. Anticipated cross there was blocked by Derrière. Ball taken. Barcelona giving it away again from the danger area. And now Koeman. Big boot forward, just plays it out quietly to a fellow teammate. And now they can build. They're over the halfway line, and Cruyff trying to get behind the defence. Good challenge in the end by Johansson. On as a substitute, wearing that distinctive headband. Ren stopped by the challenge from Ivan. Surrounded there by three defenders and being pulled back. Jordi Cruyff. Changing words there with Joachim Bjorklund. Free kick to Gothenburg. 27 minutes gone in this second half. Pedersen with the back header. Now Pedersen putting that one forward. A good intercept by Nadal. Ball loose again. It will be a throw to Barcelona. Just in the last couple of minutes, Barcelona looking a bit fragile at the back now because Gothenburg, purely because weight of numbers.
Not stringing as many passes as they have together. Players become a little bit more individual. And I also think that now Gothenburg is starting to put a little bit more pressure higher up the field. I think that's been one of their objectives.
Well, Wallstedt, player who's come on as a substitute, hasn't been afraid to run at defenders. Here's Ren. Here's Wallstedt now getting behind the defence, playing that one across. Equaliser. And it's Heynemann who is able to push it over the line. Eric Wallstedt, the substitute, did exactly what he was told to do, was come on and get behind the defence. It all started with Kumar.
Kumar plays it through to Wallstedt. Wallstedt gets in front of Sergei and just slides the ball across the box and right in the back of the net by Heynemann. Perfect sliding ball. There's nothing that Ferrer could do. He's sliding back into his goal. Goalkeeper covers the near post. The ball's played across the box, and that's what they've needed all game. Somebody to get into the box, not just one guy, but now we see here Heynemann's running, Stefan Patterson's running. Everybody's trying to get in support of the ball, and they get rewarded by scoring a goal, and now it's tied up and momentum has changed.
28 minutes gone in the second half. Gothenburg won, Barcelona won. All of a sudden there is a different complexion on this game. And Magnus Heynemann, who makes a habit of scoring important goals, scored 7 so far in the Swedish season, including 1 on the weekend in a 1-0 victory over Barcelona, which put Gothenburg back on top of the Swedish First Division. It's his first goal in this UEFA Champions League campaign, and it's 1-1 with about 16 minutes to go. Everything now set up for a grandstand finish. And all of a sudden this crowd, who really haven't been a big influence on this game, have really come awake. The noise now is really deafening, Peter.
Well, a goal always brings fans into the game, and that's exactly what's happened. The excitement is there, momentum has changed, and I think now you're going to see a lot more pressure, as we see right here, by Gothenburg.
The Ullevi Stadium has seen some great matches since it was opened back in 1958. The 1958 World Cup. In fact, it was the ground where Pelé made his World Cup debut against Russia. It's changed a lot since then. It was also the final for the European Championships in 1992 when Denmark defeated Germany in the final. And Cruyff looks on. But is it going to be at the scene now of another big upset? Roger Gustafsson knows that his substitutions have been made, but they have worked. Certainly Erik Wallstedt has added more pace and more variety to their attack. Here he is again, getting behind the defence and getting that one across. The flag was up, the referee, though, wave play on. And Barcelona, the seeded teams in this Group A, along with Manchester United, very much the favourites to go through from this group. Of course, the beaten finalist earlier this year in Athens prompted Johan Cruyff to really put the team to the cleaners. A lot of players left the club, a lot of players have joined. Ronald Koeman, of course, stays, takes that free kick and straight through to Ravelli. All of a sudden we've got a real cup-tie atmosphere about this game now, as this one is chipped. Well, Stefan Pedersen, who gave away the first goal for Barcelona, so close there to making amends. Delicate chip. If he could have got this on target, Peter, that would have been in.
Well, Nadal has now resorted to back playing a little bit more sweepering, and Koeman has pushed more a little bit more forward. So as he went up for the header, he kind of was out of position, had bad timing. And Patterson does a great job of cutting back here. He gets that on target. That's in the back of the net.
Yes, the goalkeeper there was in no man's
land. Yeah, absolutely. He was just coming out to cut down the angle, but he was way off his line.
So throw on the far side to Barcelona.
I think Barcelona has to realize the result right now. They're playing away. It's 1-1. They get a point here, they're in great shape. But right now, it seems like they're a little nervous in the situation and such as they're throwing things out, which they've been doing all game long, and that is possession. Now they're playing individual, players aren't moving, people are getting upset with each other, so it could work to their disadvantage here.
And Gothenburg. Busquets in the right place at the right time, that time here's Cruyff. It's all falling apart now for Barcelona, and it's shades of Athens earlier this year. Remembers how AC Milan took them apart, and since Gothenburg have scored that goal, all of a sudden there is a real fragile look to this Barcelona side, Peter.
Yeah, they've went away from everything that got them to where they were with the 1-0 lead, and that is a lot of movement off the ball, slowing the game down, not playing a running race with the Gothenburg team, in which they wanted to play all game long, because that is their natural style.
There across the substitute, Johansson. Goes out of play. Magnus Johansson. Strikes off. In this situation, George Harji going off really hasn't helped Barcelona. In this situation, they need people who can hold on to the ball. And that's something that Harji can do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that substitution is a little bit early. I don't think that what they needed was to get him off the field. Somebody that can, like you said, can hold the ball and also can shoot from a long distance. This type of guy that shoots from a long distance, the next thing you know, the ball's skipping into the back of the net.
Patterson was the player who was pushed and results in this free kick for Gothenburg. Got down well, got his body behind the ball. And Nilsson.
Good free kick here. Biscuits has it all day. He seems very confident in the goal. Biscuits. He seems very sure of himself when he's back there, as if any shot is his and nobody can invade his area. He seems very confident there.
Very confident as far as shot stopping goes, but doesn't look the best when he has to come off his goal line as we enter the final 10 minutes. Gothenburg 1, Barcelona 1. Gothenburg, whose European Champions League success really hasn't been looking to write home about the second meeting of these two sides. And there's more as the player getting ready to Barcelona. He scored in the opening matches of the group against Galatasaray. He waits to come on. I think it's going to be Branos, the player who is going to come off wearing the number 7. It is Branos, who really hasn't been effective in this game very much at all.
Especially now in the second half. The first half, he was sort of getting himself in better positions for the ball. But as the first half wound down, he found himself off sides a lot, sort of behind the play. And more coming into this game, he's the type of player that somehow always finds himself in a goal-scoring position. So I think he's going to give a little bit more attack in the game.
Moore, who scored 2 goals in the Champions League matches last season, come up through the juniors. 26 years old, Spanish international, but not part of their World Cup squad. Now Cruyff, who seems to have dropped back. And straight away, his Stoichkov. Interesting there that it was Moore, the substitute, that set up the chance. Bjorklund was the player who was back for Gothenburg. Cruyff. Good balance. Cruyff.
The way he moves, it looks a lot like Johan did when he played. Now he pushes the ball out of his feet, things like that. A lot of similar mannerisms like his father.
Now Moore. There. This one deep, looking at Stoichkov. It was good interception in the end by Johansson. Mark. Now Ren. In there by Ullevi. Now Stoichkov. He had Ivan in the middle, completely unmarked, and he took the hard route to try to beat Ravelli at the near post. And they could have sealed the game there and then, Peter.
Stoichkov's a little deception there. Gets the guy off his feet, and he has 2 players in the middle of the park that he can play the ball across to. Decides he wants to be a little more selfish and take the chance on himself. That ball right there may come back to haunt Barcelona, because that's the type of ball that you need to play and just get a goal off.
Ren has worked really hard in midfield for Gothenburg. Certainly he's looked very impressive, Peter, the number 7.
High work rates and a lot of great touches for them. It continues to be a threat against Barcelona.
Koeman with the free kick. Ball nodded down and more. He hit one from about that range against Galatasaray. This time blocked by a defender. Dahl. Dahl trying to play it behind the defence. The offside flag up. It'll be a free kick to Gothenburg. And now watch now. We're into the final 6 minutes. Gothenburg 1, Barcelona 1. You're watching the UEFA Champions League here on ESPN. Along with Peter Vermees, I'm Mike Hill. Barcelona caught offside 7 times. A lot of that can be put down to Bjorklund organising the Gothenburg defence. They played the offside trap so well, but now there's a chance at the other end. And Busquets denies Wallstedt. Swift play, all from the goal kick at one end. Some fine one-touch play. Pedersen saw the possibilities. Not the best of finishes though, Peter.
Now, ball got away from him a little too much, but like you said, very fast. Took 3 touches to get to the other box and a shot on goal. A lot more pressure being put on Barcelona now by Gothenburg.
Kicks. Bernd will take the free kick. The rain pouring down here at the Ullevi Stadium. Free kick kicks past the first wall. It comes off of Amor, in fact. Busquets does well to stop the ball going out of play for a corner. Only concedes to throw in. crowd here tonight, about 40,000. Nobody has left their seats. It really is an enthralling encounter, but Skets again, and the home side Gothenburg now throwing everything at Barcelona as they go searching for a winner. Away that time by Vaquero. For so long, Barcelona looked in complete control. But since they conceded that goal, it's been all Gothenburg. And there was the opportunity for the winner. It fell to Blomqvist. In fact, it was Pedersen who got the opportunity. Wouldn't he have liked to score to make up for the mistake that cost his team a goal in the first half?
Early Mark plays a great ball across his box, goes back to the goal. Stefan Pedersen has a chance to redeem himself after that bad back pass in the first half. He just hits that ball on the ground, just plays that ball on the ground. I think sometimes as players, you just want to hit the net so bad, you concentrate on scoring the big-time goal when all you got to do is push it right past the keeper on the ground, especially in wet weather like this.
So with 3.5 minutes to go, this is Blomqvist. Says the referee and linesman, that is the correct decision. Although the home supporters will never agree. As for Blomqvist, Heynemann. Put under pressure. All of a sudden, Barcelona defence starting to creak slightly. Stoichkov opened the scoring for them after 11 minutes. And then the equalising goal coming from Mark in the 73rd minute. That made it 1-1 as we come up now with about 2.5 minutes left. Throw for Gothenburg. Nielsen taking it quickly. Away by Koeman. Barcelona now finding themselves pinned inside their own half. Here's Bernd. Koeman again. Now Cruyff. All that time from Jordi Cruyff. Behind Sergei, who had made the run on the far side. Johansson wanting to get the ball forward quickly. And the ball is loose. Gothenburg now getting players forward quickly. Blomqvist hitting this one deep. Heading down. Appeals for a penalty because of some pushing. The referee will have none of it. Bjorklund. It really is a grandstand finish from Gothenburg. Now Koeman forced to play it back to his goalkeeper. Some cool heads at the back now for Barcelona. And Stoichkov there, throwing an elbow out. Well, the referee didn't spot it. Cruyff getting involved there. Stoichkov comes in as the peacemaker. Bjorklund, a long ball forward, a touch on! It's 2-1! And it's Blomqvist who got the touch. The goal coming after 89 minutes. The long ball forward from Bjorklund. And Blomqvist, his first goal in the UEFA Champions League this year. It could be vital because it's put Gothenburg ahead with less than 60 seconds to go. But what a great ball out defensively by Bjorklund, Peter.
Both Risto Stoichkov and Jordi Cruyff lose composure. The opposing team's end. Nobody fronts the ball. They play the ball very quick. Gothenburg. They serve the ball on top of the box. Goalkeeper from Barcelona, Biscuits makes a huge mistake by coming out top of the box. Look, who's going to head the ball from there to stand inside your goal and score from 18 yards out? I can't understand it. So it's huge mistakes all over the field, and it's all about a loss of composure. And I'll tell you, I think the biggest thing missing in the second half is Hadji.
Gothenburg 2, Barcelona 1. We're in stoppage time. What a turnaround. Blomqvist, who has scored 9 goals in the domestic competition this season, has given Gothenburg the lead, and I don't think he'll score a more important goal in the rest of this season. Gothenburg seemingly were gone. They gave away an early goal, a silly goal, which was scored by Stoichkov. But from that point on, it's been an uphill battle for them. And in the end, Peter, it's just pure persistence. In the end, they just wore Barcelona down.
I think in the second half, as opposed to the first half, they did what they did well technically. Meaning that they played the balls in, they got some balls back, especially the last 30 minutes of the second half. First 15 minutes, they still weren't playing their game, but they sort of stepped it up. And once they got the goal, the whole momentum has shifted, and they just pushed people forward and got into the box.
Johan Cruyff sending out instructions. Here come Gothenburg. All play behind the defence, the offside flag up. 90 seconds of stoppage time. Heynemann tries to take the free kick quickly. And there, in fact, is the final whistle. And Gothenburg have beaten Barcelona by 2 goals to 1. Goals in the second half by Heynemann and Blomqvist.